take your grill out, you take the cover off, and you're like, I'm ready to grill because the weather is better, then you need these sirloin steaks from Rastelli's. Rastelli's has been in business 48 years. We call them America's Butcher because they truly, look how tender that meat is. It's just flapping around. It's so tender. And this is actually a set of 10 of their sirloin steaks, and they're so good. And by the way, you are actually saving $10 at the sale price off of QVC's price. So you're going to get all 10 of these sirloin steaks. We call it the most versatile steak for a reason, and Ray Rastelli, America's Butcher, is going to tell us all about it and why these are such great steaks. Ray, how are you doing today?
Hi, Mary Beth. It's great to be here with you today. You know, this is the very first steak that we brought to QVC, and it has been here for all 8 years because our guests just love it. Not just as a steak, and you mentioned, I mean, look at how beautiful and juicy this is. But one of the things that I think most people realize now with this steak, because I've been preaching it for 8 years, it's the steak you really need to have in your freezer. Right? It's Black Angus, first of all, small family farms that I have worked with for over 45 years. So I know where the meat comes from. I trust the farmers. And of course, you're noticing there's no fat on any of these steaks. We trim these from end to end. And of course, they're aged for 28 days. So when you go to a great steakhouse and they say, it says on the menu, aged to perfection, that's exactly what we do here for you. So trim it completely, no fat.
Very super trimmed, aren't they?
And yes. And I want you to look kind of my cutting board here because I want you to see what we can do with this, right? I mean, this is a wonderful steak, just like you prepared it. And look how tender it is. I mean, it just falls apart.
So tender.
But you can also do things like making fajitas out of this. So I love being able to take my steak after I've actually sliced it down like this. You know what? I'm going to do some tacos. I'm just going to drop them on some tacos here. That's how simple that is. But maybe I want to do it on a salad because remember, each one of these is 33 grams of protein.
Wow.
So you really get a very, very healthy dose of protein. And of course, on that salad, it makes it really nice because no fat at all. You don't have to worry about trimming anything at all. And of course, if you're going to do it in a taco like I did here, and I love doing a steak taco, a sirloin steak taco, it just makes the taco so much better because I've got real Black Angus steak that's in that taco.
I tell you what, it's a much better taco than just regular old ground meat. Come on.
Of course it is.
And then put a little bit of, is that coming out? I think that might, I don't know if that's been
I've got some of that here too.
Oh,
yes.
anyway, that one's not coming out. But anyway, the whole thing is, I want to go back to the fact that these are Black Angus. What difference does that make?
So Black Angus is really the most sought-after steer here in the United States, and it really is a steer that's bred for eating, right? So it's grass. It's out in the grass for it free roams in pastures, and then finally it's finished on grain because the grain gives you the beautiful marbling inside of the steak. When you look at steak as a butcher like I do, I look for marbling because see that juice? That comes from the marbling. Now, there's no fat on this steak at all. So where you see juice, you see the juice that comes from the marbling inside the steak. So for it to be tender and juicy and flavorful, it has to be a Black Angus steer as far as I'm concerned because I want to be able to take my steak right through the center of it and go right through it with a fork just like I did here. I mean, that's what you should be able to do when you have a really great steak that should be tender. But we talk about versatility. I mean, I want you to think about what you can do with this steak. Each and every one of these steaks is trimmed. Here I actually made a chicken fried steak, and it's so simple to do. I just took one steak, pounded it out. I've got a little bit of home-style gravy on there. And of course, because we're in Philadelphia, this was one of my favorites to do, right? I take that beautiful sirloin steak, and all I did was really sliced it down into a few different slices. And look at how beautiful, with one steak, I'm gonna make 2 of these beautiful Philly cheesesteaks. And it makes it really, really easy to be able to take and make something that's that beautiful. at home.
This is one of those that if you just want to add gravy and mushrooms and potatoes, you're good to go. What do you think, Christina?
I love them. And the fact that they are perfectly portioned, you truly are eating 5-star restaurant quality meat at home, which is incredible because you can't get that at the store. I mean, honestly, you cannot unless we go to the Rastelli store in New Jersey, but now you're able to get it home. And speaking of like putting it away, right, how we say inside the freezer, you can just shove these in every little corner and they're fantastic.
You can, and that packaging, Rosina, that will hold up in your freezer for 12 months. You can use it anytime you'd like. Just pull it out of the freezer. I always like to get my steaks to room temperature before I cook them. So it'll because it's got no fat on it, it'll really defrost fairly quickly. If you get in a pinch, go ahead and just take that steak and drop it under cold water. But I want you to see what I did. This is one steak. Now you see how far it went because it's completely void of any fat. And of course, you're getting the seasoning, so I always like dropping that seasoning right on top so I get a really nice little bit of salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic flavor. So that's, if you go to a steakhouse and get that steak, I can't even tell you what that cost is going to be, but now you can have it right at home, just like we do for the steakhouses all within this area.
And here's the thing, you're getting all 10 of these for a little bit of basically $100, so about $10 each. I do want to remind you, we're saving you $10 too. And Ray, thank you so much for joining us. I so appreciate it. I do want to say,
great seeing you.
We've got the perfect gaze, a wonderful Moscato to go with the meat. And that'll be coming up in just a little. Isn't that great? I love it.
That is perfect. Thank you.
In the meantime, when you